let's take a look at the Knicks defense, specifically late in the game, like late in the third quarter into the fourth quarter. I want to point out a couple things the Pacers did really, really well, but also a couple things that the Knicks just did really poorly. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is this coverage on TJ McConnell. So starting in the third when he got subbed in, the Knicks switched up their coverage. So McBride is going to go over the screen. Throughout the second half of game one and all throughout the first half of game two, the Knicks would start going under these screens when McConnell was a primary ball handler. Instead, you're going to see McBride go over. But even worse, you're going to see the Knicks send two to the ball. So Mitch is going to guard McConnell two, send two to the ball, which leaves Tony Bradley wide open on this roll. And then OG Anunoby draws a foul. So just not what you want to do against McConnell. I thought initially that this was a mistake and they would adjust. But then it happened again with two different defenders. Here's McHale and Cat. And look at McHale. You can see him pointing to Cat to switch. But this isn't Halliburton. This isn't Nembhard. This is TJ McConnell, where your defensive strategy was to go under the whole time. And you should stick to that because that was working. Now, this is also going to be a stack pick and roll or a Spain pick and roll where Shepard's going to set a pick on Cat so that Miles Turner is going to have free run to the rim. But if you go under this, you can kind of avoid this action with having Campaign switch over to McConnell or just have McHale completely go under everything and then recover on the other side to McConnell. That way, Cat can stay hugged onto Turner and there's no advantage created. Instead, the Knicks are going to send two to McConnell again, which leaves Shepard as a pass and then Miles Turner wide open when there's a little miscommunication. So I just don't really understand why this kept happening. It happened one last time with McHale and Mitch. The Knicks here, pick and roll with McConnell and Turner, are going to send two to McConnell. So that's three possessions with three sets of different defenders executing the same coverage, which just doesn't make any sense to me. Here, McHale, right before this, went over the screen too, which is why he's chasing. So now that he's behind McConnell, Mitch is in help. Mitch's original assignment was Siakam. Payne's original assignment was Shepard. Because Mitch is in help and because McHale is a little bit beat off going over the screen, Campaign's going to go out to Siakam, which is going to leave Shepard wide open. This is a great relocation by Shepard. You're going to see Shepard find open space for an open three. But this shouldn't happen if McHale was in front of McConnell and Mitch didn't have to help. And that's the thing that confused me is you shouldn't need to help McHale guarding McConnell. Here, again, this is the right coverage, right? Go under every screen, give McConnell space. But while McHale and Cat are executing this coverage correctly, look at Mitch ball watching McConnell. You don't really need to do that. And then Payne, too, is also ball watching. Look how far away he is from Shepard. He quickly checks, which is fine. But in this second, Shepard gets behind him. When Shepard gets behind him, he's going to make a great dive. And I'm not really sure what Campaign is doing. But this is why you run off-ball actions. Because Mitch and Campaign need to decide, are we going to switch this action or are we going to stay? While this off-ball action is happening, it causes a little confusion. Really bad defense from Campaign, just not sure what you're trying to achieve by doing this. And then this leaves a wide-open Siakam for a three. So good movement by the Pacers. Inexplicable mistakes by the Knicks, especially when the primary action happening is TJ McConnell on McHale guarding him. This is how you should execute this pick and roll. So don't worry, Brunson doesn't even have to swipe there, but Brunson stays on Naismith, which is right. McHale is really far behind, let him shoot. If he wants to go over, McHale can get under this. He probably should have his foot under Siakam or just under OG in general to get over. You can also switch this with OG. I don't think you need to. Just have McHale get over it. But he isn't a threat right now. And that's how you should treat him, as a non-shooting threat. I don't understand why that coverage switched in the third. Now, moving on from TJ, when the starters came back in, or this lineup with Obi, this was really, really dangerous for the Knicks, and this was perfectly executed basketball by the Pacers. So here you're going to see the first screen by Miles Turner. You're going to get a switch with Mitch on Halliburton. Here's the off-ball screen for Obi on Nembhard. And then the Knicks are going to do a good job. Look at OG. He's trailing the play a little bit, but he gets back into it. This is the attentiveness you need. Honestly, you need a little bit more attentiveness so you're not trailing this much. But gets there, negates the action, resets, and everyone's in a good position to defend this, right? And then you kind of leave this. The important thing to note is no one's over helping, right? This is a matchup you kind of live with, which is Mitch on Halliburton. So while OG's cheating a little, while McHale's cheating a little, no one's selling out to try to help here. And that's going to be important as we move on. Obviously, Mitch on Halliburton is a better defensive matchup than what we're going to show with Brunson on Halliburton. One more play before that, you're going to see this great off-ball screen by Obi on Nembhard. they're just going to switch places. Because they switch places, OG's trailing this play a little. OG and McBride had a slight miscommunication here. So you see that hesitation. OG's now trailing the play. When OG's closing out, Miles Turner sets a screen. He's going to slip the screen. When the screen is set at the same time, when the screen is slipped at the same time, they're going to run into a handoff with Obi and Naismith, right? So look at this miscommunication. Now, OG's already trailing the play, so he's still trying to like get into the play. McHale thinks he's going to switch this, and then OG's not really in a position to switch off this slip because he was already trailing the play initially. So that initial switch between Nembhard and Obi had downstream effects of just miscommunication here, leading to a wide open Miles Turner dunk. So all these off-ball actions are really difficult for the Knicks to stop. Then the Pacers went to this killer where they would get Brunson onto Halliburton. Once Brunson got onto Halliburton, they would space Miles Turner out wide. And then Mitch had a tendency to help. Here, I think you just got to live with it. I don't really know the best answer to this. But Mitch is going to cheat here, which leaves Miles Turner wide open for a three. And I look at McHale and OG. McHale's telling OG, you have to get out. This is your responsibility to rotate. And OG's not rotating at all. Wide open Miles Turner three. Now, the Knicks adjusted, and Knicks tried to stop this action by just hedging Brunson. We've seen this 1,000 times, so here's the Brunson hedge, right? Then you're asking McHale to recover. This is well executed. McHale recovers, right? Everything's reset, no advantage created. No one needs to be in help. You live with this Halliburton on McHale matchup. NBA.com cut off that three. That was an air ball, but it was good defense, right? Now, the Pacers adjusted, and this is what we showed during the Celtics series where Drew Holiday would slip. And that's how you beat this hedge, right? So Naismith just slips. And then when Naismith slips, Halliburton gets him the ball or looks him off. And then Cat has to come down and help, which leaves Miles Turner open for a wide open three. Right? This is just like perfect basketball. It's really hard to defend. You have to execute really well defensively. And the Knicks just didn't really do that down the stretch.